it's supposed to be 10%, so 1 in every 10 houses should be, or rentals or condominiums should be affordable to somebody,
Yes.
right? So, we know that,
Hypothetically,
but then
yep.
we're looking at doing it at 6 or 7,
Right.
all right? So people won't understand that, so that's why I'm asking the question. We're doing it at a rate of 6 because,
We're doing it at a rate of 6 because when we review all the numbers that I just put forth, and those are very conservative numbers. If you're averaging 13 building permits per year, let's say you get 2 a year. So 2 a year times 10 years is only half. That's only half the amount of our goal of 40. And we put 6 because honestly, that was one of the more, I've seen one community with 4. But 6 was a somewhat of a conservative number. And that still is only gonna get us to the halfway point, hypothetically.
but
I mean,
we
I'm
have
not,
to make up some numbers, is what
Floor
you're
is
saying.
back to the 25%.
right, right,
The idea is to make it a little more attractive for the builder,
correct,
and therefore have a little more control over what's going on.
yes.
A little more say in what's going on. A lot more say.
Yeah,
We want-
it's a very well thought out plan. So that was just a couple of questions that I had.
Has there been a public hearing? Has CPC had a public hearing on this?
Yes. Yes. It was last Tuesday. I'm sorry, yes, it was last Tuesday, and the CPC voted to support it at town meeting.
Okay.
I have a few questions, I guess.
Yes,
What do you want?
of course.
Comments?
I was gonna open it up to the floor, too.
Oh, that's okay. Why don't you open up the floor first? Then I'll-
You wanna
yeah,
wait?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anyone have any comments? Yes, sir.
Yeah, let me switch.
Most of you know me. My name is Shep Spear. I live at 41 Lakeside Boulevard. I've served on the Community Planning Commission. And I think we're looking at 2 different issues here. One I agree with and one I disagree with. We have Article 14, which is an affordable housing trust fund, which I don't have any particular disagreement with. I have served on affordable this and affordable that and affordable the other thing in this community, and never had a lot of luck, but we've strived to put affordable units in place, and we've had some minor success. So I would say that this Affordable Housing Trust Fund would serve that purpose. However, when I flip the page and I come to inclusionary housing, I disagree with it, okay? The reason I disagree with it, and I'm gonna let my brother speak to it, I am a builder and a developer in the town of Georgetown, and I have served in this community on the planning board, and I've tried to be level to include these things, and I appreciate what is trying to be done here, but I don't agree with the method. And the reason is that what we're asking people to do is reduce the number of units that have been given them. They purchase land, 6, 4, 8, 10 units of land, and then they're told that some portion of that has to go to affordable housing, okay? Now, where does that money come from? It comes out of the developer's pocket. At this moment, I think we need quality housing in the town of North Reading. But this is counterintuitive because if you're taking money away from the developers, they're not able to develop quality housing. They are just robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I think my brother will point that out to you. The inclusionary housing sounds like a good idea, but in fact, it may not be a good idea. I've served on the MAPC, various state committees, and I've always been reluctant to look for these nirvana solutions that really don't serve us particularly well. And I think this is one of them. I've discussed it with the members of the CPC at the public hearing that we had last week, and they take a different stance than I do. They think that this is going to be beneficial. I could get into a lot of details here, but I'm just going to leave you with one thought. And it's an unfortunate thought. When we talk about affordable housing, and we put the word affordable on properties, it puts a tinge on those properties. Okay? I think you know what I mean. It detracts from the value of those properties. And if you're in a subdivision of 4, 6, or 8, or 10 houses, and the realtor goes up and says, well, this is a nice subdivision, but we have affordable units in here. Well, unfortunately, and I sincerely mean unfortunately, when people hold their noses and won't use that measure of affordable for what it's supposed to be, and they consider it just as a measure of, I don't want that exclusiveness, okay? And that to me is sad that we go to that level.
Shep, if we go back to 40B,
Yes,
and we have numerous 40B developments
correct.
in town, most of them are condos. What's the difference? Why-
I would like, well, I'm almost crazy enough to go back on the CPC, but I don't think I'm going to. But I think there are solutions in 40B that we could take parcels of land and put affordables on certain parcels and have the state consider that we are done. In other words, we've paid our dues. Basically, as we paid with our rental units over here. Now
No, I don't think you got my question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. You're making an inference to a development where, in the development of, let's say, 7 homes, there's one affordable unit.
Right.
And that sort of tainted the value of that whole development of 7 homes.
Okay.
And I'm asking, what's your view of the difference if it's a 40B with 1 in 4 being affordable? Why do people look at that differently?
Well, 40B, from my perspective, is foisted on the community. We are mandated to create a development in a neighborhood, and we don't have any choice. And it comes upon us bang. And they come in, the developer comes in, and he says, okay, I bought this land, I'm gonna put so many units in here. To hell with you neighbors. I have the state, the DHCD is on my side, and I'm gonna create affordable units here.
No, you're still missing my point.
Okay, try it again.
I'm gonna buy one of those condos,
Yeah,
and that has the weight of some affordable housing attached to the complex. Similar to, I'm gonna buy the house in this development of 7 homes or whatever, and it's got an affordable home. I'm trying to understand the difference. Not from the point of view it's been mandated on me, but the perspective of the value of the property. You're making an argument that by adopting this, anybody that comes in to build a development is obligated, A, to build affordable houses within that development per a 6-to-1 ratio, or pay the town for this fund, put money into the fund at some rate that's been calculated based on the average selling price of a home, as I understand it, in a
Right.
simple-minded form.
Right.
So I'm trying to understand the difference,
Well,
not in the mandate, but
Okay.
in the perspective of how it's looked at.
I guess that to me, it is a matter of property rights. Now, if you look at property rights, when you purchase a piece of property, it has an intrinsic value of X. It's a number of lots or whatever it can be developed into. Now, if you mandate that some portion of that is taken away, then I consider that unfair to the people who are purchasing it.
So your concern is with the current people who currently own property, not necessarily if this were to change going forward. I mean, as far as the value for selling, for resale value right now, it may have an effect on it. But going forward after that point, you know what you're buying.
Well, I agree,
part of the-
I agree, you know,
So
in the
right now, the
future,
people who
you know,
currently own it-
it may be a level playing field in the future.
But for the current owners and the next
The
buyers.
current owners and the guy that's about ready to purchase it,
Well, the guy who's purchasing it knows what he's buying. It's just the current owner who could be adversely impacted.
definitely,
Based upon-
definitely could be adversely affected.
True.
And I'm not sure that, and I'm not here to represent those people,
No, but that's a matter
but
of fact.
that is a matter of fact. I think you stated it perfectly.
Okay.
Okay, and that is one of my objections that I would have, you know.
I'm still confused, maybe I don't quite understand what this change does. I viewed it as some developer bought a bunch of lots, and he's gonna develop those lots, and I'll use the number 7 just because it's simple, and one of those homes that he builds on it, he's gotta have a selling price that's affordable by some formula, right? And therefore, one could look at that particular neighborhood, let's say it's on a brand-new street and it's only 7 houses, has less value than another street that has 7 houses on it, brand new, that doesn't have an affordable house on it. That's what you're implying, I think.
It
And my
is.
question to you was, I don't see any difference with that than if there's a condo that's built with 7 apartments on it, and one of those is affordable. It's the same thing.
The difference is that there's 100 to 150,000, say, if you're talking condos, and based upon our past history here, you know, there might be $100,000 to $150,000 difference in the cost of purchasing a market rate unit versus
Unaffordable.
an affordable unit. So that $100,000 to $150,000 is absorbed into the development cost and reduces the amount of money that can be produced. But what's happened in turn, though, in relation to the 40B, the local zoning is overridden, and the density is either negotiated at the local level or dictated by the state.
That I understand.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
So the
Shep is
buil-
not
the
wrong
builder
as far as,
the
he's not
builder
wrong.
has a little more leverage, perhaps.
The builder definitely has more, well, has leverage under the 40B because the state is standing behind it.
Correct.
No, but he has financial leverage in terms of being able to provide the affordable house without.
And if you look to the,
Less of a detriment to the balance of the homes, getting back to where you started this discussion.
well, I don't want to run this thing around and around, but if you take a case and you bring it to DHCD and you declare that something is erroneous in the formulation here, they'll almost always side with the developer as opposed to the town. You know, I've been involved with them, and I could almost state unequivocally that that is the situation. Whether it's correct or not, I don't know, but that seems to be the way they seem to